you been to your Capitol Center lately? Just asking. Because I've just been told by someone in the know that the Capitol Center is like state of the art, guys. Like, it is state of the art. I think I knew that. But it really is in terms of, production value, what you're going to get. And these shows are insane. Some of the shows they bring in, I saw Jesse Cook there. I'm going to mention that because I'm talking to Pete. Pete's here from the Capitol Center. Pete's been there forever. Pete and Nathan and Dilla, the little trifecta of fantasticness. They look after you, man, if you're on the stage, which I was lucky enough to do. I've been on that stage for quite a few years. And it's a great venue. It's an amazing stage to be on. And with them at the helm, you're always going to sound good. Pete's going to talk to us about sound because he's the sound guy. So, if you're ever there seeing a show and you think the sound is incredible, maybe you're somebody who's, a garage artist. Maybe you play something in a band in your garage or in your basement or in venues around North Bay. Maybe you're playing. And so you know a thing or two about sound, and you go to a show and you're like, my God, this is mixed beautifully. It's Pete. Hey, before we get into it though, we need to thank our sponsor. And our fabulous sponsor for this show is the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation. I'm Lisa Bueve, and this is To North Bay with Love.
Dear North Bay, you've always been more than a place on the map. You're home to me. This is where I built a life with my husband, raised our kids, and taught in local schools for over 24 years. I'm proud to be part of this community. Earlier this year, my world shifted. After living with anxiety, depression, and PTSD for much of my life, I reached a point where I couldn't keep going alone. Walking into the emergency department at the North Bay Regional Health Center was one of the hardest things I've ever done. But what I found there changed everything. A nurse who made me feel safe, a crisis worker who truly listened. For the first time in a long time, I felt seen. That care gave me hope, and it inspired me to give back by supporting local healthcare so that others in our community can access the same compassionate care I did. If my story resonates with you, I hope you'll consider supporting the NBRHC Foundation. Please visit nbrhcfoundation.ca or call 705-495-8125 to give. Because mental health is health. With gratitude, Tiffany Van Meer.
Okay, Pete, you're in the studio.
Bizarre.
Yeah. Is it though? Is it weird being on this side of it? Because you're
usually...
Yeah,
it's super weird.
Yeah.
Yep. I think this happens like once a decade, so I'm due.
Once a decade, you're in front of a mic.
Yeah. Instead
of back in your little cave.
Yeah.
Under the balcony at the Capitol Center. Okay, how long have you been at the Capitol Center?
I think technically I rolled in there when yours began with ones. I was there for sure 2000.
Yeah. Okay.
Just like boy contractor.
Okay. That would make sense. Then we kind of came about the Capitol Center, or just kind of came to the Capitol Center around the same time, because my first summer with the Nipsing Stage Company was 2001.
Yeah.
And we did a production of Picasso at the Lapin Agile. And I think we did our dress rehearsal. It was an Asante night. We had Asante Wealth Management there.
Right.
And it was like a big sponsored thing. I think it was at the Capitol Center. I'm pretty sure it was. Anyway, so you must have been there that summer. But I don't know if you remember.
I probably wasn't. I would have just been rolling in for bigger shows.
Okay. The big, yeah.
Just lifting things mostly. I'm sure at that point.
Okay, so did you always start like in sound?
Pretty much, okay. Yeah. It was always my problem to get the PA together when we had terrible punk rock bands in the 90s. Okay. So I'd corner my friends who had driver's licenses who could actually rent gear from Music City,
right.
Bring them to Music City, present them in their driver's licenses, and then take gear and go do punk rock garage basement club shows.
Yeah. Okay, and speaking of like punk rock shows, You probably don't. Is that your genre? Because you do music.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Is that how you got into sound, do you think?
Yep. Yeah, no one else would do it. Like we're too rotten and noisy. No one wanted anything to do with it.
But then, like, what really? Obviously, okay. And you're a musician.
If I'm cornered, like I have to be really cornered.
Okay.
there has to be no one else.
What do you play? Do you play?
I'll play the electric bass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I love a bass.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. One of my favorite bass lines, and this is just because, it's not like I sit there and listen to music specifically to listen to a bass line, but I was listening to Don't Start Now.
Okay.
The bass line in that sucker, I don't even know how I noticed it one day, but I was like, ooh, that's a good bass line. Like she's just walking through the song. It's really catchy. It's really fun. Yeah, the bass is really important in a song, I think. It just like provides the soul.
Yeah. And it's fundamental, one would hope.
Yeah. Did you teach yourself?
Yeah. I did normal high school music and such, but I played trombone.
Oh.
So
that's a hard instrument.
Yeah.
To play.
Yeah, it's tempered however you like it. You got to sort it out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then you have a son?
Yep, 2.
2?
Yes.
I didn't know you had 2 now.
Toby is...
Toby, yes.
25 now.
Stop it. No.
Yep.
I feel like I was on a website at some point. Maybe it was for the podcast or something. But I feel like there was a picture of you and Lisa, lovely Lisa, who's here now at Clark Communications. I just remember her playing at the bars. Oh my God, playing her harmonica and singing and stuff. Freaking amazing. But there was a picture of her having a water birth.
Yep.
Was that Toby?
No, that's Noah.
That's Noah.
That's a whole decade later. So Noah's 8 feet tall. He's
and now
14.
What is happening?
Yep.
That's crazy.
This will be Noah's last Halloween if he's a civilized kid and shuts it down before he turns 15.
Right. Before he starts going around to houses. And then, you know what? I had a neighbor who, when he was a teenager, this is horrible, but he would take tinfoil and then he would go in his backyard and he would pick up dog poo, his dog, and he'd wrap them up into nice little packages and he would have them just off to the side for like his grade 10 and 11 friends who would show up at his house because he was home handing out candy. But like if his jerk buddies would come over dressed as like a bed sheet, he'd be like, yeah, here you go, bud. Have fun. And I was like, that is rude, but kind of funny and brilliant. I mean, why not? Okay, Capital Center. Like, give us a day in a life of being at Capital Center.
Today, what did we do? We rolled in, did a bunch of paperwork first off in the morning, and then tested various video connections to make sure that we could play vintage video games for the Saturday fundraising bash.
Yeah. Tell us about that. Okay, so and that fundraising bash, like, what is that specifically for the Capital Center?
This is for the Capital Center. Okay. It's it goes to fund a particular set of, I believe, outreach free to students and such subset of our programming. And it's been various events through the years, but it's always sort of a late fall fundraising party. Yeah. Either a formal tra-la-la or a 80s, 90s, 70s goofy night out.
Right.
It'll be full of karaoke and 90s hits and the 99s, who are a tremendous, ginormous Canadian cover band jukebox, sort of an all-star lineup doing covers of the era.
That is awesome.
Yep.
And that's all on
Saturday.
That's on Saturday.
Starting 7 p.m. or so.
November 1st.
Yep.
Saturday. Okay.
Get out there.
And if I remember correctly, okay, I worked at the Capital Center. Oh my gosh. It was 2007. It was like 2006 and 7. And I know that because my brother got married 2007, the August of 2007, and I was there at the time. And I actually kind of saved them because there was an exhibit at the Whitewater Gallery. So they were getting married there.
Yep.
And then the reception was on the stage. And I remember walking in, and I think was it Keith Campbell? No, who was in charge of? It wasn't Keith. Anyways, there was somebody there. There was a pottery whole exhibit going on, and I remember walking in this was like, I don't know. They were setting it up. It was like 2 days before the wedding, and I was like, oh, this is
there are going to be hundreds of people in this room shortly.
I'm like, what is this about? Like, how long is this here? And he's like, oh yeah, this is like for like a week and a half, like a week. And I was like, oh, okay, but you're going to like take it down though on Saturday, the 25th of August, because there's a wedding here. Well, I didn't hear about that. What? Anyways, so when I talked to Dee, good old Dee Adrian, I was like, Dee, don't you have a reservation for like, she found it and there was like this whole thing. They had to take them all out and like move them. It was like this whole thing. But anyways, I think that was one of the first years I think that they had started doing weddings and stuff. So I don't know that it was like a well-oiled machine yet.
That sounds like early days of that.
Exactly.
Particular arrangement.
Getting all the kinks out. But I was working kind of selling ads for the program for the year, and then I also worked in the box office back then. And I remember we worked. It was called the Wine Gala back then, and people were having fun. Let me tell you,
it
was lots of wine to be had.
And it'll be a rowdy midnight.
Ooh.
Come wrap up for Wine Gala times.
Let me tell you now. What kind of funds are raised? Like, is there a goal that you want to raise every year?
There's some sorts of goals. I'm sure our website and whatever social medias go along with the actual event would outline that kind of stuff. That's so perpendicular to my end of things. Like, I want to run good and sound good.
Well, and this is awesome because I mean, we for years and years we did the 22 Wing show there, in the fall, and it was always so comforting being on stage because I would MC and I would sing, and it was so comforting being on stage, having you guys in the booth, like you and Nathan and like Dillip doing the lights, because
and that became a well-oiled machine.
Oh, it
like
totally
we did
did.
a couple of times.
Yeah, but it was just great because it was like you guys, you know what you're doing. You're professionals.
We try.
Did you? Before you like started working there, did you go to school for any kind of sound mixing?
I went to London.
Yeah.
In the early '90s to go to OEART, the Ontario Institute of Recording Technology, which at the time was really the best place for learning studio sound. Yeah. Which is what I wanted to be professional at that point. And as I was working in London, saving up to go to OEART, I was poaching gigs from people coming out of OEART with huge debt. So I decided to just buy gear instead of going into debt to get a certificate in recording. Yeah.
And then ended up doing something totally different, really.
I did studio work for a fair while, but I always did live sound. Like I never pivoted into that. That it just took over.
And what's the difference between that? Like between a studio, if somebody's recording something of an album, as opposed to
you have to get right in the moment when it's a live production. It has to be right now. You have to do all the work beforehand and make it in this instant.
Yeah,
be what you want it to be.
Yeah.
You get to go back and think about what you've done and do it over if you're recording, unless you're recording a bizarro, get it done right the first time kind of way. But by and large, that's always in your mind that you can step back, start over, fix. Yeah. And you cannot in front of a live audience.
No, you cannot. You cannot. How many shows are roughly at the Capitol Center throughout the year? Like we're talking like there's enough.
If we open up the doors to an audience or broadcast something or have entertainment in the gallery. If that's our threshold for being a show, I'd say there's over 100 shows a year.
Wow. Yep. I don't know that people really register that, because I'm thinking
people come in to see one particular thing and they're surprised at what's going on the next day and the day after.
Yeah. Yeah. And it really is like, would you say, because I'm sure I would think that you kind of keep up on just new technology and new things coming out, or kind of like the different theaters, whether it's Toronto theaters or whatever, things happening. How, is Capitol Center kind of state of the art, or like where do we sit?
We're pretty state of the art. Lighting wise, we've been incrementally through the years keeping up. We sort of screwed up in that we were able to get by with audio gear that we had finagled over a decade ago and come off as state of the art.
Okay.
But in fact, we're making do, using our sweat and blood and brains to come off as being top notch and just in the last couple of years, we've managed to leverage a fair bit of new gear. So we're across the board, I'd say, state of the art. Like folks have always been really happy coming through. We'd get best show of tour production wise over and over, but we were doing it with gear that was a decade out of date for the last decade.
Hey man, that goes to I think your creativity and expertise.
And having a really good crew.
Yeah, exactly.
Having a crew that can pull it off.
North Bay's turning 100, and what a time to be here. From the buzz of the Heritage Parade to sunset concerts at the waterfront, the city is alive with celebration. And you know who's right in the middle of it all? Homewood Suites by Hilton North Bay. We're proud to be a part of this milestone moment. Whether you're coming home from a family reunion, planning a gathering with friends, or just simply making the most of everything the Centennial has to offer, our doors are open. Stay in a spacious suite that feels like home, with a full kitchen to cook in, room to relax, and a space to unwind after a full day of fun. Are you hosting something bigger? Our event spaces and amazing local partners like the Grand and Stock Transportation make it easy to bring people together. Best of all, they're just steps from the action. The fireworks, the food trucks, the music, the laughter, it's all right here. Celebrate 100 years of North Bay with us. Use code Centennial to save on your stay anytime this year. Be at home with Homewood Suites by Hilton North Bay. Join the party today at 495 Oak Street West or give us a call at 705-495-3000.
It's almost that time of year. Early mornings at the rink, fresh notebooks and backpacks, and a community gearing up for another great season of varsity sports. At Source for Sports North Bay, we're proud to be part of it all. Whether it's finding your kid's first pair of skates, gearing up for tryouts, or outfitting your team for the season ahead, we've got you covered. Because here, we're not just a sports store, we're neighbors, coaches, teammates, and fans. And we're proud to cheer you on every shift, step, and stride of the way. Visit Source for Sports North Bay at 1321 Fisher Street and let us help you along your way.
Is it the same crew? So, is Nathan still there and Dillip is still there? And,
Dillip's a bit more gentlemanly. He's pretty much just doing actual projectionist stuff rather than every single day crewing. But no, he's totally around.
Yeah. Well, is there a favorite type of show that you love to do sound for? Or?
I think we all like it when we are responsible for more of the show. So if an artist comes through and brings no one with them,
okay,
and particularly if they're a big ticket artist, there's an expectation that things have to be extra good, and it's sort of an acknowledgement that you've got a good venue, you've got a good team when an artist comes through and they don't bring anyone.
Right. Okay.
You're grown-ups. You'll take care of us, and it'll be good.
Yeah. I went to see one of the, there's been a lot of shows that have really blown my mind. Really and truly. I mean, the shows that the Capitol Center's bringing in, you would see in Toronto, easily.
We'll do a couple of shows a year where we're one of 2 or 3 Canadian dates.
Yeah, that's
the programming's
awesome.
Stepped up, I would say.
And I mean, one of the shows kind of recently that I saw in the last year or two was Matt Dusk.
Yeah.
And the lighting in that was awesome. So I'm curious, did he bring people or was that?
He brought people.
Yeah.
He also, Matt, we get really grouchy when people bring in video production just sort of to have something going on in the background. And it's sort of, it's like saying we're not interesting as an artist on stage and we'll put TV behind us.
Right.
And Matt brings in video that is part of his stage and fits the stage and looks great and doesn't detract from Matt. Matt bounces around in front of it and
absolutely.
It's perfect. Yeah. He had spot on video. I'd say Matt can bring video. Most other people cannot.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree, absolutely, because it just enhanced his performance. It was all of a sudden you were watching kind of a music video, but it was what he was doing on stage. And so it was just, it went hand in hand. It didn't overpower him, right? Yeah. Yeah. Jesse Cook was another one that just blew my mind.
Jesse's a madman. I can't believe what he does.
And then we have not the Rankins. Did the Rankins ever come here?
They'll be back. They always come back.
Yes, I knew they were here.
And there'll
Natalie
be more of them.
McMaster, that's what I'm thinking.
There'll always be one or two more of them.
Yes, that's right. Okay,
Natalie's through next Saturday.
I know.
Yep.
There's another now, and so talk to me about sound about that, because you're talking different things. You're talking like a fiddle versus electric, everything electric guitar, electric bass.
It's very, very casual. It's like they drop a living room full of it's like they do a living room rehearsal.
Yeah.
But they're super pro, so their casual is at a level that no one else can reach. And they have children on stage that are more pro than
oh my God.
Loads of grown-ups that come through with big bands.
Yeah.
And they're all wicked players, and they'll bring a crazy backup band, and they'll all be the nicest East Coast folks.
Right.
It'll be the nicest day.
And are you miking like every individual instrument at that point, or are these kind of?
Yeah, their drum kit is mic'd very, very old school, just kick, snare, overheads.
Okay.
So don't need a mic on every drum.
Yeah.
You're going to hear what's going on. Natalie and Donnell's fiddles are mic'd, and they have a pickup. So you have the clarity and the immediacy of a pickup built right into the fiddle, plus a microphone to hear the sweet, sweet things going on in the air.
Right.
And everything's mic'd. There'll be microphones in the socks of the tap shoes sometimes.
Right. Oh, yeah. Because it really does make a difference to the audience's ear, for sure. Like if one thing is mic'd and something not.
Need to be up. Need to be an inch from your face.
Yeah. And you is there a general rule of like, if one thing is mic'd, you kind of have to mic everything, like in terms of instruments?
It depends what the stage sounds like and what the stage is going to sound like in every venue when you're putting it together.
Right.
And it depends how the musicians hear themselves. If they're all using speakers on stage for monitors, then maybe we don't need to mic everything because you're going to hear what's going on in the air. But if we're putting earplugs in and piping sound into our earplugs, then we have to mic everything because you can't hear what's going on in the air unless it's got a microphone on it. Yeah. So we'll mic the audience so that you can hear the audience.
Oh my gosh,
in your monitors.
That's something I've never worked with is actually having like a monitor in my ear. I don't know how that would be.
It's weird.
Yeah, it'd be distracting, I would imagine, yeah.
It feels like there's a reflex where production people just steer artists towards being on ears.
Yeah.
I think you have to think it through harder than that because there's a lot of stuff that happens on stage, in the air. Things blend in the air in a way that is difficult to replicate in ears.
Okay. Yeah,
but
that would be true.
It's exactly the right thing for some people.
Is there a delay? Would there be a delay?
There should not be.
No, there shouldn't be. Okay.
Nope. If there's a delay, you got to start over and figure out what you're doing wrong. You're using the wrong console. You've got the wrong settings. There's some latency in the system.
Right.
It's bizarre the amount of delay that can throw people off. Just the tiniest.
Yeah.
Microseconds can throw you off.
Yeah. And do a lot of, I guess I'm talking more singers now, I guess, because you'd want to hear, although I guess, no, people who play instruments would want to maybe hear themselves in the monitors. I guess for people listening and watching, when you're on stage, there's speakers going out to the audience, but then there's also speakers that kind of come into the artist on stage so that you can kind of hear yourself. Mm-hmm. Do you find most artists like to have they like the monitors, or do some of them just say, no, Pete, take it all out. I don't want to hear anything.
The only people that don't want to hear anything are Gordy from Big Sugar. Sometimes he just gets weird ideas and he wants to just hear the roar of the PA.
Okay.
I've done a few shows with Gordy where he's just decided there will be no monitors, or he'll play in front of the PA.
Okay.
He'll do whatever he wants in the moment. He's a very clever dude. Or people that have never experienced monitors and they get startled by hearing themselves.
Right.
And you have to, if you think you are introducing monitors to an artist for the first time, you have to make that moment be a soothing, good moment rather than a scary, weird moment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's definitely a dress rehearsal situation, not a night of. Because I definitely have to have some of the monitors for sure. Otherwise, I think that would throw me off if I can't hear it.
Once you're used to it, you can never not have monitors.
I know. It is a thing. Yeah, for sure. You need them. Is there a chance, is there any kind of program at the Capitol Center where you're teaching? You're teaching students? Do they come in and do any kind of...
Well, I teach at Canadore, and the program that I built started at the tail end of COVID, and the theater at Canadore was not entirely commissioned.
Right.
And there was going to be a requirement to have more spaced distance, and Capitol Centre was perfect for checking off is a theater ready to go where one could learn, and is big enough that we could be a couple dozen people in a room and not be close together.
Yeah.
So for the first year and a half of the live event production Canadore course, I did that at Capitol Centre, but there's a perfectly good teaching theater at Canadore, so we're doing it there now.
I had no idea you wrote a course.
Yep.
Tell me about this course.
That had been in the works for a long while. I'm pretty good friends with the head of the recording music production department, and we'd been back and forth about what it would look like to do a live event course up there. Eventually, I got to sort of speccing what would be the gear for that, and then we got talking about designing the course. And then COVID happened, and as COVID was wrapping up, it became plain that it was the time to make that course happen. And so we did.
So when students, how long of a course is this?
It's the 2 semesters in the second year of the 2-year recorded music production program.
Okay.
And it's a half day a week, so 4 hours, and then maybe 6 hours in the second semester, once a week.
And what is it like? Is it specifically focusing for like a studio?
Nope, live music production, wherever you might happen to need to produce live music. So the bulk of it takes place in the theater in G-Wing at Canadore, but it's meant to really. I'm sick of walking into venues where people are getting well paid and are not able to give me a competent, safe place to perform, and every student that walks out of my course would be able to make a stage safe and loud and effective. So I feel like someday I'm going to walk into a venue where I would have had a bad time, and someone who's actually learned what they should be doing on stage to make a stage safe and effective will make me have a nice day, and I will have come full circle.
Wow. And what are can you tell us what that is? Like, what is, if you walked into a place
you have to be able to walk up to a microphone and a monitor and talk into it and have it be loud and clear and not feedback, not echo, not sound terrible, not make you wish you had not made a noise.
You don't want that
and
tinny
likewise,
sound,
as an audience, you need to be able to walk into a venue and have the stage as a starting point be reproduced impeccably accurately in the PA. And then you go from there and you mess it up. You apply whatever art to the mix that makes it no longer accurate. Yeah. But as a starting point, you make a safe, loud, clear PA.
Yeah.
And monitors.
Are you a hard teacher? You hard ass, Pete? Hard to get good marks in your class?
You have to make me happy on stage as your exam to get out of the first semester into the second semester.
Like you go on and
you have to mix monitors so that I feel like I've walked onto a professional stage.
That's awesome.
Which, I mean, given that we have some months to get to that point, it's pretty sappy. We spend a lot of time talking about using our words and communicating.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. And so do any of your students, is any part of it kind of doing like an internship at the Capitol Centre, or do they have you hired any of your students? Or?
There are times when we can wander into the Capitol and spy on productions getting built.
Okay.
But you're on your own. You maybe try and get a toe in the door at the Capitol Centre. Some students have done that.
Yeah.
A lot of students are from Southern Ontario or other parts of the country. So I'm getting calls from TDs that I know from Oakville, Markham, saying, I've got a student here, and they claim you taught them this. And I have to explain that, yes, I did, and they're pretty good.
That's really awesome, though. Yep. That's amazing that they're going back and, having these potential jobs, careers, maybe, in these bigger venues and holding the fort, like holding their own.
Yep. And a lot of them are never, ever going to do live sound, but they're going to be performing. They're going to have the vocabulary and the planning tools to get themselves on stage. They're going to be able to know, I think you guys should be doing this before I even step on stage. They They have that the workflows and the ideas about how a production works.
Yeah.
Burnt into them by the end of a couple of semesters.
That's amazing. I think and what a nice, partnership between, two places in the community. The Capital Center in Canada. I think that's awesome. And why not? I mean, eventually, I guess you'd like to retire. So there might
any
be
minute now.
just counting down. What time is it? So that would be, how awesome would that be if, there was a student that you taught who could take over for you, you'd know that they were going to do it right, at least.
Yep.
Yeah. So do you wake up in the morning and still go, guess what I get to do today?
By and large. So I'd say 90% of the time, 10% of the time, I say to myself, well, I have to do 10% of the stuff.
Yeah, you're
That's a nightmare.
It's a slog.
Yep.
But 90% of the time, that is pretty cool. I mean, there's not many people who can say, I love what I do, right?
I'd do something else. I'd go be a roofer if I didn't love it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yep.
Anything else about the Capital Center that we should know? Anything upcoming?
It's super old. It's going to be 100 years old in 2029. So I feel like there's a lot of interesting stuff in the works leading up to that. I hope we might be sort of a revamped venue for 100th birthday.
It is. It's a beautiful venue. I've been very grateful and lucky to perform on that stage quite a few times. And like I said, I mean, working with you guys is always awesome. And I just, every year at that time I'd walk in, in November, it was always the end of November, we do our show and I'd be like, hey guys, let's do it. And like you said, it became this well-oiled machine. We knew what it was. And so it's great to work with the team there. But also, like you said, I mean, it is state of the art, right? Like you're getting these productions the production value of these shows is incredible.
Yep. Yeah. I walk into a lot of performing arts centers around the country, and half the time I think, well, I wish I'd just walked into Capital instead of where I'm at right now.
Jeez, okay, that's pretty awesome.
Yep.
Cool. Thanks for coming in.
No worries, thank you.
This is great. I'll see you at the theater.
Yep.
Okay. So that was Pete. I did not know that he wrote a course. I think that's amazing. I think it is an awesome partnership between the school and the Capital Center. I mean, and it's awesome that your teacher, it's one thing to have a teacher who's kind of, who's giving you knowledge, who's giving you skills, but to have a teacher that actually does this as their job, and they're doing this every day. They're speaking with artists who tour the world and who are coming here. Like you said, I mean, some of these artists, the Capital Center in North Bay is one of 2 Canadian venues. 2 Canadian, what? We have an amazing theater, guys. So go onto their website, check out the shows that are coming up, and I highly recommend you go see as many as you can. Support it because we're really lucky to have it. Can't believe it's going to be almost 100 years old. I think you said in 2029 it's going to be 100 years old. Anyways, I just saw a poster for Natalie McMaster, but I bet you she's probably sold out. She always sells out. It's crazy. She and Donald are coming. I think it's November 8th. And I was like, damn it, I should have got tickets, but that's coming up. I'm going to go check though, just in case. Anyways, while I'm checking that, why don't you check out our website, northbayecho.ca. We'll send you the Echo Essentials newsletter if you'd like. You can sign up for it there, and then we'll just send it right to your inbox, and you can kind of get a little tidbit on the hot topics around North Bay. Check out the other podcasts that are there. That's it for me. Over and out. Until next time, much love.